close-up of the factory magazine release. It's actually nice, you know. Hit it with your index finger, middle finger, thumb. Works really good. There's how much it, you know, kind of sticks out on either side. I have pretty big hands and pretty long fingers, but I still have to break my grip to get it with my thumb, but it's really nice and easy if you just use your index finger on the other side. This is the HKParts Enhanced Magazine release for the P30. It's very nicely machined. It's aluminum. It's anodized. It has a nice finish on it. It's about 50 bucks. Just punch out that little roll pin right there, and it comes forward out this way and swings up into the trigger guard, and you kind of got to finagle it out of there. But here's the two pieces side by side. Well, it installed really easily. It looks good. Functions good. Works as it should. It is pretty wide. Does really stick out there. It's fine. Still can't release it with my thumb without breaking my grip. But that's okay. I didn't really expect to be able to. I'm not sure how I'm gonna like it. I'm just gonna have to roll with it for a little bit and see if I like it or not. I can't speak to holster compatibility, as I just run this with a Blackhawk Omnivore that indexes off like a Streamlight TLR1 or one of the Surefire X300s that I have, so I don't have a holster designed specifically for this, but this could absolutely cause some holster compatibility issues. I have a previous video on this gun where I go over in depth the trigger work that I did, and I will link in the description to that. Essentially what I've done is polished all the internals where they need to be polished. I installed a GrayGuns short reset kit, and I installed a slightly reduced power mainspring and also a match nickel plated sear spring. And it cleaned up the trigger really nice. It's very smooth. And then the single action, nice smooth take up. I can barely feel the staginess of that firing pin safety block in there. Nice defined wall, little bit of creep, clean break, bit of over travel. And the reset is not terrible. It's about half of what it once was before the GrayGuns short reset kit. And the trigger weight, right at 4.5 pounds. GrayGuns straight trigger. Nothing really fancy to see here. Looks good, nice machining, nice finish. See how much of a pain it is to install. Well, that was one of the more challenging trigger and trigger return spring installs I've done. I actually ended up stuffing it through the back right here with my pliers while kind of holding it all funky over here and holding this in that pocket so the spring couldn't be pushed all the way through, and then prying it into position with my screwdriver and then jamming the pin through it. There's special pliers for this. They're extremely expensive. I didn't really have a pair I wanted to sacrifice by cutting a circular cutout in them in the jaws for holding the spring body, but I made it work. All back together, and kind of the reason I was hesitant to buy this trigger in the first place is that being flat, it is at a really goofy angle in double action, and it's effectively going to make your double action pull heavier because it's going to crowd your finger up this way along that face. So it actually kind of makes double action worse, but, you know, of course, you're mainly shooting in single action. And now it feels a lot better. Brakes right at 90. Much, much less over travel. Which, of course, shortens the reset. So that feels pretty good. I know a common modification on these guns is to Dremel this little hump down right here, but it never bothered me with the old trigger and doesn't bother me with this one, so I didn't do that. Maybe if you had really, really big, thick fingers, I could see how your skin could get pinched under there, but my fingers are pretty skinny, so maybe that's why it doesn't bother me. Of course, the advantage with a flat trigger is that you can get your finger lower and get a better mechanical advantage on the trigger face. I'm going to try to pull this in the center and see if it did anything for trigger pull weight. Nah, right at about 4.5 pounds, so the trigger weight didn't go down at all. Didn't expect it to. This trigger pretty much just limits over travel and thereby shortens the reset. But if I get the scale way down here towards the bottom and do my pull, you can see it's about 3 3/4. It gets under 4 pounds. Well, that's the end of the upgrades on the P30. I think it's finally done for now. We'll see. I'm debating whether or not to get send the slide into Langdon Tactical to get an optic cut on it. Who knows? That may come later down the road. But with this trigger that shortens over travel and shortens the reset, and also the GrayGuns short reset kit, and then the polishing I did to the trigger system, the single action is really, really nice at this point. When I first bought this gun and shot it, I didn't think I was going to be able to get the single action to be this good, but it's really nice. With this trigger, the double action feels kind of weird, kind of goofy now, but it's still, you know, nice and smooth, not super heavy. Happy with my mag well. I think I am going to keep this extended mag release. I do like it. But yeah, really sweet gun. Real happy with it. It's a great shooter. The trigger improvements made a world of difference.